So I'm here listening to Kurt talk about his certifications and all of his certifications about lubricants and things like that. He's got more lubricant certifications than most men I know. But anyway, the combine that I'm working on right here is, and he's got a good point. I'm actually going to have to shut him off because I'm listening to him right now and I can't do it. Can't do it and make a video. So he's doing a live stream. All right, so today I brought this combine home. We were cutting some soybeans. I have an issue that I have to deal with, two issues that I have to deal with. There's a seal in the back of this feeder house which is dumping grain out onto the ground. I cannot have that doing that, so I have to figure out what I'm going to do to fix that. There's just a rubber flapper that needs to get put in there. So I got to do that, but the other thing is there's a tie rod that goes between the lower axles, the lower end of those axles there. You can see there's a great big hole there, and there's a great big hole over there. So I had this wonderful idea. I'm just going to go get a bolt. I'm going to get a bolt. And the bolt's going to look something like this, right? It's going to look like that. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just cut a section of that off of there, about like that, and weld the bolt on. Not here, because that's fine threaded, as you can see. It's fine threaded, and the nut to this is around here someplace. I just put it down. And then I go over here to where it actually broke off, right? Like right there. And I noticed something. Isn't that something? Somebody's already done it. So, shit. So what do you do? Well, there's plenty of thread on this here that I could just thread the nut onto that and get a nut like this nut here and put on there, right? Oops. Get this nut here, I'm taking off, and put it on there, but the problem is it's not the same size. It's slightly smaller. So do you want to bet money that that nut is metric? I bet it is. It's not. Hold on here. I have a few of these things, but I got a square nut, and this one here I think may be the right size. It should be the right size. Let's see if it's the right size. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say that it probably is not. Hold on. Let's go over here. We've got this handy dandy little turn it on thing. Let's make sure she's zeroed. It's zeroed. And we can get a look at this. It is 1.22 inches, right? So we should be able to slide that in there, but because that's the thread size, and I can almost guarantee you that's 1.11. Let's put this on metric. Let's go to metric. Let's say we go to there. Is that 0? Let's 0 that. .31 millimeter. .31 millimeter. And this one here I know is a standard because that's 27.5. Okay, 27.5. This is 31. So it's a 31 mil. So I'll just cut that off, right? Hit the power on that, turn that off. I will go ahead and cut this end off, and I will add this guy to it. So yeah, so about what I need to do. See, I can't leave that. Hold on a second here, you're looking at my face. I can't leave the head of the bolt on. So I got to cut the head of the bolt off, and then I can do this. And that'll give me, hold on here. So I'll just go to there. and that'll give me enough on the end there to go to there. Probably just do that, and I'll lob it off right here, grind it to a point, lob that off there. Let me get some chalk and we'll start this process, because I really need to do this job, and you know how these jobs go. So give me a second. Oh, fuck. Alright, let me turn on my microphone. You can hear me bitch about this thing. Alright, so I've tacked this with the R Captain welder. I guess I probably should have cut it off with the R Captain welder too, but I did not. So if you notice that I've kind of got it cocked in the downward stroke there, there's a reason for that. And I'll tell you what it is in a minute. So, still cocked down, right? Oh my God, one lonely farmer, you don't know what you're doing. You've got it not straight. What are you gonna do now, huh? Well, when you're welding a shaft, there's a couple ways you could do this. You could do it the dumbass way and just kind of, you know, butt it flat up against one another and then build a bunch of weld up to it, which isn't going to work. Or you can get your grinder out and grind the ever-loving piss out of it, like the ever-loving piss out of it, so that it's, you know, 2 points, and then you start in the center and then you spin it round and round and round and around and around and around and around and around and around some more. Or you do it the way I'm doing it. You grind it so that there's a bevel, a very shallow bevel on both the broken piece and the welded piece, the piece, you know, the broken piece and the piece that you're gonna weld it onto. Just a little bevel. And then you do that shit, it falls off. I guess I didn't do a good enough job, right? You dumbass, right? Well, anyways, I'm only tacking it on here, so it's getting hot now too. And what you do then is, now that you've got a space, hold on here, you start at the top and work your way down. So give me a second here. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Okay. How close are we? Getting pretty close. Now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here because, you know, I am the master at bullshitting. Right? I'm telling people what I'm doing and they're like, "Ah, you don't know what you're doing. You ain't never done this shit before. You just make it all up because you can." Well, that may be true in some cases, but not really this case. It's going to work out really good, I'm hoping. The problem is I need to actually bend her to the left. Now, this don't have to, I'm not turning this, I'm not doing... Okay. Oh, yeah. So it just needs to be, in general, straight. It don't have to be perfect. Probably wondering why it doesn't have to be perfect. Well, it's just going in between there. And let me tell you, when I get this thing right, it's going to fit right in there. My wife just showed up and she's getting me all aroused. Come here, baby. Oh, yeah.
Will you stop?
Come here, watch this. Watch this.
What are you doing to me? Ow. You know, you are so bad. What are you doing?
I'm humping you. That's right. You okay? You're picking on me. That's what the problem is.
I'm not. I was asking a question.
Well, what was your question? Because I didn't hear the answer.
I said, are you talking to yourself?
Yeah, I'm always talking to myself. It's what I do for a living anymore is talk to myself. Nobody listens to me anymore. Yeah. What stuff? Why?
No.
I don't give a damn one way or the other. How about you? Do you care?
Well, I have to make rice like you over here.
Of course you got to make rice. A scoop of rice?
No.
You know? All right.
The generator's still working.
Oh, well, I wouldn't see why I wouldn't.
It's still working. But I'll let you know, that's all.
Okay. Tanga. Wow. Now we're talking. Hot. Okay, getting close. Yeah, not terrible. So as you get warm, I'm going to kind of take some of that slag off there. There's not really any slag on it. I see no porosity, or inclusion, as some people would call it, like I did years and years ago. I'll just include that slag in there. Okay, now we'll do some top coating here. Okay, did you hear that? All right. Oops, I don't want to do that. I'll set the whole place on fire. Kind of got to be vigilant on some of this stuff. Getting there. Getting there. Beautimous. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I have pretty much welded all the way through from one side of this bar to the other. It is solid. Guarantee if I cut through it, there would not be any empty spaces, on the contrary to what some people would believe, but I've done this a few times already in my life. Cool. Okay. So why am I using this MIG welder? I guess I'm using it to prove a point. Jesus, it's not a stinking rag. A lot of people think that these arc casting welders are not worth anything. And the reality of it is, it's worth a lot. It works great. The wire that I'm using is actually 70,000 tensile strength, so it's the same as the 78 to 70, 14, whatever it is you want to be running. Okay. Okay, looks good. Yeah, looks good to me. It doesn't have to look great, it's just got to work, right? So, I will go ahead and take my helmet off. Put it back up here because that's where I want it. You can see my bald ass head. You know, over the years you've seen me do things, and I don't know, some people think that I don't know what I'm doing, and sometimes I don't think I know what I'm doing, but for the most part, I kind of know what I'm doing. Let me make sure that I just shut that off, right? Yeah. And we're going to let her cool. Before I do that, I'll pull that nut off of there. Whew. I should have the right nut for the bolt there. Yep, this one's actually machined a little. It's about the same. Threads on those things are sloppy. I don't know why, but they are. Oh, Lord. I have a little blue container with grease in it. Oh, here they are. Now, this is a... Oop! If I wouldn't drop it on the dirty floor, it'd be a lot better. But, here we go. So this is like this graphite grease. It's actually, it's a graphite type of grease. It's not Never Seas. It looks like Never Seas, but it is not Never Seas. And away we go. Okay. Alrighty then. I'm underneath here. I've got the piece in. See that? She's got some slap in her. So what I have to do, and you're not going to be able to see it, I don't think, is right there, there's a nut. And that nut needs to be dealt with. The nice thing is, there's a nice little spot here, like that I can put my wrench on, and I can actually possibly, I do have another adjustable around here someplace, and here it is, and I can kind of cock that thing up and underneath here in this rim. So let me tilt you up, and hopefully, yeah, I think you can see there, right? Let me see. Ow, bitch, there's something under my knee. You ever just have something like that happen? And it's like, okay. Alrighty. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this or not. What do we got here? So, nope. Nope. Shoot. So what do? We try this? Probably not. There goes an airplane over top of us. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So that's working. Alright. So this is just really, I want to call it a torsion bar, and I know it's not, but that's what it's going to be called. This thing has got to be tight between the two axles, because if you don't, it'll actually split the combine. Believe it or not, it'll split the combine, and we don't want to do that. Alright, so that's just not something I'm willing to do, is to break the combine over stupidity. Now, I didn't know this was busted until today, but I have this really weird feeling that it actually has been broken a little bit longer than what I knew, because my nephew Grant, he's like, hey, Uncle Wes, that could be where that bolt was that fell out. I'm like, what are you talking about? What bolt? And he points over to this. He's like, right there. And I was a little shocked because I didn't realize that it was broke. My aunt last year, while we were harvesting corn, while we were dealing with corn, she comes in the driveway and she's like, hey, where did this nut come from? It's got a bolt on the end of it. And I'm like, I don't know. How am I supposed to know? It could not even, might not even be mine, you know? But turns out that it was. So this is the wrong size wrench. That's a 2-inch wrench. I need a 1 7/8, and I'm not sure if I got one. So just kind of stare at that thing there for a little bit, and I'm gonna see if I can come. And we're back. Let's see. This is the 1 7/8. It's actually, oh my God, it's not 1 3/4. 1 7/8. What would that be? 13/16. 1 13/16. I'm pretty sure that's the case. And you know what else the case is? Some bitch ain't gonna fit in there. So this is the socket, right? Let me go see if I can find. And this is a ratchet. It's a Craftsman 3/4 inch ratchet. These are expensive as they get. But I think I have something shorter floating around here, like an old bar. It doesn't even have to be that good. It just needs to fit in there. And yes, I have one. Cool. Problem is, am I gonna be able to do anything with it? And you may see what I'm talking about here in a moment as soon as I put my tool away. And here. Oh no. Well, let's see what happens. It's really not gonna take much. It is a fine threaded thing, but I got this old, cheap Taiwan, what do you call it? The Taiwan, what do you call those things? Vanadium, or whatever they call them. They're just cheap tools, like Harbor Freight models. Oh my God. So, oh my goodness, this is just getting worse and worse by the minute. Let's see here. Here we go. It isn't going to take much. See, all that thing has got to do is take the pressure off of here, because if you don't, it will actually give the combine the splits, and we don't want to do that. It'll break some of the pressure off of that thing, that rail, and then I should be able to get it really nice and tight. I wish I had never done that. Yeah. And then if it doesn't get any tighter than what it is, then we know that we're good enough. Because you just want to take that. Ooh, you got to realize this combine weighs 25 ton alone. Let's see, she's just as tight. It's got some pressure to it, so maybe we don't have to worry too much. Let's see. Is it going to do it or no? Oh yeah, it took the pressure off. Certainly did. Wow, it's kind of amazing. So when you're crossing a ditch and you got all that weight pushing down on one side, and I mean a lot of weight pushing down on one side, holy shit. Get this thing under here. Oh, I'm gonna have to buy a new one of those. I ain't fat enough. I'll have to tell my wife that. She'll make me some food. Because she's so good at cooking. That woman is just a cook and a half. She will put Chef Ramsay to shame, I swear. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely needs it tightened up. What's that about? Are you busted off of there? What the hell? Oh. That's kind of weird. I'll have to fasten that up with a zip tie or something. Anyway. Yeah, we'll give her another cranking. I'm thinking. That's that. Oh. Once you get the pressure on it and drop it down, it will never turn. And the problem is I am literally 225 pound standing here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Combine's rolling. Get my $1,000 camera out from under there before we lose it. Ooh. Ooh. Suppose that would come out and hit me. Hold on here. I don't need you looking at my fat gut. Come on. Right there. Look at that. She's a leaner. She's got a lean on her. Well, I'm going to call that thing good. Let's listen to her. How much tension we got on it? Yeah, it's pretty tight. Okay. Now, when that comes off of there, my weld is over here. Like right there. See it? Right there. Do I hear anything clinking? No. Anyway, with that being said, I'm just going to call it good. It's on there. I'm going to have to keep my eye on it. For sure. Especially as the year goes on. I have only cut about 130 acres. 130 acres of soybeans. That's it. That's all I've cut. I haven't been able to cut any more because it's too wet. We had that hurricane crap come through, even though they told me it was not a hurricane. So if it wasn't a hurricane, I'd like to know what it was. It wasn't much. There was no wind or anything, but there was rain from the hurricane, and that just makes it, yeah, it made it wet, and it's been overcast every day except yesterday, where I was able to cut those soybeans at a whopping 14.5%. Now that's okay because I got the bin running. The fans are running on the bin. They're not heaters, it's just the fans. And what that does, it just runs air through it. So the beans underneath it are in that 11% range, all the way to the top where they were 14.5%. I need 13.5% to get them ready for market. And I'm having a hard time finding a hopper trailer to rent. Nobody's got one, but I do